Hello everybody, this is Ghost Hunter 385. I'm back with my live stream where we do live Q&A of topics that go on the weekly. So if anyone has any questions from previous or the videos of the week, please do not be afraid to ask. But in the meantime, let's get into the things. Yeah. Okay, looks like I gotta go to that dungeon and... Whoa. Okay, let's do this side quest. I'm gonna do the side quest over here real quick. Then we'll do a story. Then we'll carry on with the story mission. I will be doing a poll about what game I'll do next. For the next game to pick from. So if people would like to pick, go ahead and I'll post up that poll. So when I get closer to end of the main story game, I will do that. Whoa. Whoa. Armor right there. Interesting. Oh. Hey. Okay, I gotta, whoa. Well, I gotta watch out for this. Oh, is there somebody else in here? Whoa. Wasn't expecting to get to that. That's interesting. White maggots. Simple dagger. Is there another player in here? I can't tell. Simple dagger. Toxic pit, huh? Here. Ultimate skin. Whoa. Whoa. Wow. Okay, wow. I guess those plains hornets are a bit nastier than I expected to be. Silver quartz from infected delve. Whatever that means. What the heck? Oh, I think I know what's going on. I think I think the game's lagging. Ooh. What the heck? Oh, this place. Oh, okay, I get it. Toxic pit. This place hurts. Okay. Okay, I need to get back up. And let it rip. Whoa. Oh, nice. Level up. Oh, yay, my... Finally get a better healing potion now. Yeah, okay. Ah, green Is this where that quartz is I was looking for? The heck? Hmm. Oh, there's the silver quartz. Okay. Oops. What's with all the random equipment in this place? Oh, Lord, where have all the good men gone? In the immortal words of Lord Chronic, where are all my 6'6" millionaire banker chads? Shiny. The dungeon. Reminds me of Undead Chronic in that regard. Where are my 6'6" banker chads who are ripped and make millions? It almost makes me laugh when I think of where are all the good men? And it's like, you don't want a good man. Women do not want good men. And I will say that to the day I die. Because my ex-wife, you know, I'm not going to talk about this topic too much because it's still a pretty raw situation. And sometimes she watches, sometimes she doesn't. But, you know, she's basically leaving me to basically go chase Chad and whatever. And, you know, I'm not going to feel bad for when her life turns upside down. And I've even told her that when she ends up, what's in here? Oh, shoot. Ah, darn it. But, I told her that basically, after she leaves me... Hold on a sec, folks. But, basically, I told her that I'm not going to come bail her out of any situation she was in. The next situation she in that gets really bad, I'm not bailing her out at all. I'm going to leave her to rot. And why am I leaving her to rot? It's simple. I've spent years with this woman. Not necessarily trying to make her a better person, but trying to get her to understand that, you know, what she's been doing, what she is doing, is going to lead to her own misery later on in life. Yeah. It was like talking to, it was like talking to a stubborn donkey, basically. I had to be wrong, so I am wrong. Basically was it. Now, people will sit there and say, well, Ghost Hunter, she could live a wonderful life. Yeah, there's a possibility of that. Not gonna lie. But the fundamental issue with living a good life boils down to you being able to have a leading and fulfilling life. And how are you supposed to have a... What's going on over here? How are you supposed to have a wonderful, fulfilling life when when you'll never be happy? Now, people will sit there and say, what are you talking about, Ghost Hunter? My ex-wife is one of those people who's basically, she has to have the new thing. She has to have this. She has to have that. Now, originally, I gave her a pass for this because she never had a lot as a kid, even as a teenager. Now, people will sit there and say, what do you mean? Was her family that poor? Actually, no. It wasn't that she was poor per se. It was the fact that everything just kept getting stolen or taken from her. Now, I gotta sit here, some people saying, what do you mean by that, Ghost Hunter? It's exactly what I said. Every time she got something good or nice, basically somebody, not necessarily her family, but they would steal it. And because she's somewhat of a hoarder to a degree, she's not a complete hoarder here, but a hoarder to a degree, she would hide things, and both her mom and her dad regularly would go through her stuff, and they would just go through her stuff and just throw it away. Not a care in the world, even if it was actually stuff that was important to her. They would just throw it away. Didn't care. So she became greedy because of that. Now, am I justifying her behavior in a way? I'm trying very much not to here. Because... almost died. Oops. Now, do I feel pity for her because technically she got a pretty raw deal in a way? Yeah. But, it's just a matter of, just how am I supposed to feel bad for someone and stuff. It's just, how are you supposed to feel bad when, the situation is X, Y, Z, A, B, C, and, especially with everything that's going on in our relationship now, it's just, you know what? When her life comes crashing down, I ain't gonna have any sympathy for her. Ghost Hunter, don't you think that's a bit wrong? She is the mother of your children. Okay, let's make this blatantly clear here. She's done a great deal of damage to me, and then when I'm finally pulling my head out of the gutter the gutter I've been into, she magically decides to leave me because I didn't sit there and let her monopolize all my time. I do want to sit there and say that, that's a very nihilistic point of view for me to have. Not gonna lie. But, you can't make you can take a horse to water it, but you can't make it drink. And my ex, she is very much acting like her mother. Because her mother cheated on her father. Then, after that, she went and got involved with a bunch of different men, because her mom basically became the local bar salute, basically. And after being the local bar salute, she eventually ended up marrying another guy who was basically pretty damn deceitful. I mean, he's a GC, general contractor, and he can do a ton of work. And some of his work is really good to a degree. He's not the greatest, but he is pretty good. And he went out of his way to not ruin her life, but those two were the couple that should have never gotten married. They became so toxic to each other. And, oh Lord. Excuse me. But, it just boils down to, still, she's leaving me for greener pastures. And, the thing that, 7 out of 10 people didn't realize till way, way later. And, basically it was a book that I read where a psychologist who helped save marriages he says he helped save marriages, and he wrote a book about it, and I read it out of curiosity just to see if it would help me get over my feelings. And basically it said 7 out of 10 women left their husbands because they just weren't happy. And, if you're truly unhappy and you really need to leave, okay, fine. That's okay. You're truly unhappy. You're truly this. You're truly that. But everyone who left on the premise that they could do better and would get better, according to the book, the same people who had that mentality, these people ended up being worse off, because these people left their spouses, men and women, whatever, because they thought they could do better, or life would just be better without them. And, that's a preference that people can have. I'm certainly not going to tell anybody what to do with themselves, because as far as I'm concerned, if you leave somebody who's good to you and tries to be good to you, you don't get any reason or right to complain. Really? Didn't get anything? You don't have the right or the reason to sit there and say anything about when that person finally moves on with their life. And, people will sit there and tell me, okay, Ghost Hunter, that's nice, but why are you telling us this? And the flat, straight answer here is that, basically when these people came around into, talking about their lives. You left this person, okay, good. How are you faring now? Are you any happier? The same 7 out of 10 people all sat there and said, no, we're not happier. In fact, we are more miserable. Because after we left, because everything was just so much harder. And, my response to this in general is, well, that sucks to be you. Ghost Hunter, isn't that pretty cold? From a purview, it can be. But, we also have to ask this same question. Was this person at all, bad to you in this relationship? Oh, they forgot this, they forgot that. They didn't cuddle you enough, they didn't kiss you enough, they didn't spend enough time with you, so it's okay for you to leave. I'm not sitting here talking about abuse, because if you're truly in an abusive situation, check out of the situation and boogie. As far as I'm concerned, leave. Do yourself that favor. But in a situation where your life isn't where you want it to be, you want it to be different, you want this, you want that, blah, 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 blah. Look, I get it. You're not where you want to be, you're not happy. But do you think going somewhere else is going to make you any happier? Because the reason why you're unhappy has nothing to do with the person whom you're leaving. It has all more to do with you and what you've been doing. And it's called, wait a minute. Are you saying that people are responsible for their own misery, Ghost Hunter? That's exactly what I'm saying here. Unless the partner, wife, husband, zuzband, plusband, whatever the heck you call it nowadays, I don't really care what anyone calls it. Because, after my ex-wife moves out and she starts dating her boyfriend, who she's basically leaving me to go be with, I'm done with relationships. I have no need for a relationship. I have no want for a relationship. Oh, Ghost Hunter, don't worry, you'll find someone. Yeah, it's not so much about finding somebody as it has more to do with just, nobody likes certain situations that happen to them, and it's called, I'm not gonna sit here and just let someone be like, oh, you poor thing. Yeah, no, not happening. Not happening whatso bloody ever. But the point is that, once she's gone, I'm done with long-term relationships. And, I never wanted to get married in the first place, and that really came to chap my butt, if you will, here. So, in the end, it doesn't really matter all that much. Because she's leaving, and I'm going to make the best of it for myself. And, if I eventually do end up doing way, way better than her, and she comes around, if she comes around, let's say, let's just say, for example, her life's going miserable and she comes around back next year, let's just say, you know, I'm not going to sit here and say what I'm going to do. To be bluntly honest here, I'm not going to say what's on my mind. But, I'm not going to sit here and lie and say that I don't have clean intent, if you will. So, with that in mind, it's just, what do you do and how do I get this? I even have the gold to do that. Yeah, I do. Might as well. But the point is that sometimes you just have to leave people to die on the side of the road here, if you will. So at least that way they won't repeat the same mistake. And as for those people who never truly learn, well, my best advice for you is to ditch those people and just leave them. That's my best advice for anyone. Let's see, what type of codex do I have? Seriously, that's all the codexes I have? Oh, come on. Seriously? I had way more codexes than this unlocked. Sheesh. Here, I thought I had better. Oh well. But, I don't know what the future is going to hold. She could be just fine. I could be completely wrong. Although, I will say that when you start adding up the numbers and just looking at it, it's called, how do you plan on doing that when the basic finance doesn't add up in your favor? I mean, she's already trying to get me to help with her bills, and I told her I'd think about it. And I'm just like, why should I have to pay her bills? The only thing I have to do is make sure my children are okay. And if things end up going bad for her, well, oops. It's just when you really, really think about how people act and how they treat you, one does wonder. Okay, wow, wasn't expecting that to happen. Sheesh. Alright, well, seeing as I gotta go there anyway. I'm gonna have to go through and do all those dungeons. But, when someone says, I'm going to try and do better or find better, sometimes it's just better to, walk away and just be like, and then watch what happens. Because for me, it's just, I'm patient, I can wait, I can sit there and watch someone ruin their life. And just let them do that, because I have no problem watching that happen. Why do I have no problem watching that happen? It's because I tried to get you to stay here with me where our odds were better. You were like, nope, I can't, I won't. I will not. Okay. Can't, won't, will. Can't, won't, will, won't, whatever. Well, then don't come crying to me when your life becomes literally a excrement cake, because I'm not going to sit here and whoa, what the heck is going on here? What the heck? Either I'm lagging or just my equipment is not good enough for this place. And I'm willing to bet it's... yeah, my equipment is terrible. Oh well, not a lot I can do. I mean, you could replace what you have, Ghost Hunter, but the stuff that I have is the stuff that I prefer, truth be told. But I probably do need to do better. Seeds of Hatred, huh? Alright, let's go. But the point is sometimes you just gotta... oh. Okay then. Well, I'm not. Well, there's no one here really here to PvP with, so I guess I'm not too worried about it. What's this? Altar of Acceleration. Okay, well, judging by the looks of it, this is some type of PvP event. Maybe. But, you know, I'm just gonna let her sink and swim. If she actually swims, well, good for her. But more than likely, in her case, she's not going to do a relaxed, laid-back swim. She's going to be doing the whole panic swimming thing until she eventually drowns. And you know what? It's called, okay, good for her. Let it happen. And for those who sit there and say, you know, don't you have any sympathy and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, no. Sympathy requires me... for me to have sympathy for her, that's actually going to require me to actually want to feel bad for her. And I made it a rule for myself a long time ago that I don't feel bad for people who do things that end up making their life worse. Now people will sit there and say, you know, isn't that a bit nihilistic? How is it nihilistic and whatever else to sit there and not feel bad for a person who does things to themselves? I mean, do you feel bad for the person who... I mean, you know, think about a serial killer for a minute. You know, think about... what was his name? What was it? I think it was Bundy. Yeah, think about... what was it? Ted Bundy? Because I know it's not Al Bundy, because Al Bundy is the father portrayed by Ed O'Neill on Married with Children. So, not the right person I'm thinking of. Just thinking of it. But basically, he got caught, convicted, and he was like, oh yeah, and people are like, oh my god, this guy's so whatever, because he was getting fan mail, and an inmate ended up ending him by beating him to death, basically. I'm trying to remember if it was Ted Bundy or not. I know it was something like that. But, you know, the point is do you feel bad for this man who basically went on a ending spree of people, and he basically went out and ended a bunch of different. He basically, he was still notorious, this, that, and the other thing. And, people sit there and say, well, he paid for his transgression because he not only was he convicted and he went to jail, he also, but he also ended up being ended while on the inside. And, my answer to that is he did it to himself. Do you feel bad for a person who does things and ultimately what they do is just... Shoot. Darn it, I didn't want to die. Oh well, it happens. I guess I do need to get better equipment because this is just bad. But while I'm sitting here rambling on about all this, the basic point is that when someone does something that they made that choice about, you don't feel bad for these people. Why do I say that? Because they made a choice where they could have had a better standard of living. Oh, but if you don't love that person, why would you stay with them? Okay. For all the women out there who say you should stay, if I don't love this person, I should just leave. Ask yourself this basic question. Now, I'm going to be a bit of an a-hole here. Very big a-hole here. Ask yourself this question. Are you leaving because you've lost feelings for them? Gee, instead of just losing feelings for them and just be like, I'm over and done with this situation, blah, 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 blah. How about you do the right thing by both your quote-unquote boyfriend, girlfriend, partner, whatever you want to sit here and call them. I don't really care much for the woke stuff. I'm just saying it to kind of to apply this to everybody, basically. Whoa. Either my equipment's bad or these seeds of hatred are really really messing with my weaponry. And I'm not sure which it is. But the point is don't feel bad for someone when they put themselves in bad situations. Hell, I put myself in plenty of crappy situations when I was in the military, and ultimately I ended up paying for that. Granted, I had my reasons were for some were good, others not so much. But the point is that when you do not necessarily bad things, but when you do dumb things that, you could have maybe solved. Because the thing that really pissed me off about being on active duty was that, I never really, I would say on more than one occasion I did prove myself. But, it just wasn't enough for my higher-ups here, if you will. And I had to basically suck that up, no matter how badly I wanted. Even when I speak to the Emperor about that, even he says, maybe if you had just listened to them, things wouldn't have been that bad. And, I sit there and say, yeah, probably wouldn't have been that bad. But, when someone has it out for you to a degree, it doesn't matter what you do. They're always going to find, the best, their best way to mess up your life. Now I can hear some people saying, what do you mean? Let's just put it to you this way. I was not I am not a football bro. I'm not, sports bro, anything like that. I respect people who do play sports. I do respect people who do play things well. But, the NFL nowadays, especially after the whole thing with Colin Kaepernick, I was just like, NFL can go sit, as far as I was concerned, the NFL could go sit on top of a nice sharp spear and go pleasure itself on it, because and the NFL has been some of the greatest influence on people to do better, and then they go and basically crap on everything because it's politically expedient, even though they ended up alienating part of the fan base for the teams. And then, it's just, what do you do? What do you do? Well, for the fans, it's just stop watching. I mean, for my sake, I was when I was younger, I was into, the whole sports thing. But eventually, it just... But for me, it was just, I get it. I get it. Sports are fun to watch. But for me, it was, not necessarily that sports are boring. No, 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 no. Sports are not boring to me. It's just, I'm the type of person, after thinking about it, I would actually rather be the person playing the sports. As weird as that may sound, considering, I'm the introvert, this, that, and the other thing, but I'm not going to lie about myself. If there's any type of like sports thing related, I'm not interested in watching it. I'm more interested in playing it, as weird as that sounds for me. And that's just kind of who I am there. I would rather do the stuff than watch it. And people can sit there and say, okay, Ghost Hunter, then go play. I wish I could. Sadly, I don't have anyone to play with. So, there you go. Getting really sick of these weird-ass banditis. No sacrifice for you. No. No. Ooh. Whoa, what the heck? Great. Great, the event's going to end. Just wonderful. Bang. Fire. Bang, bang. Darn it again. And of course, I failed just as. What? I'm guessing my equipment is just not high enough level here at this point. Guess I gotta figure out a way to... Whoa. Get it better, I guess. Well, no, get better equipment. But, I can't help but not preach this enough. If you know someone who's doing something dumb, define dumb as, whatever you want here. But, if they're doing something that is dumb, where they're eventually going to end up losing money, whatever you want to sit here and say, basically, don't just let them go down the path, and then when their world comes crumbling down, either if they've been good to you, help them, or if not, just laugh at them. Ghost Hunter, are you advocating that people treat people horribly? I said laugh at them, not ridicule them. Laugh at them for their mistakes. I mean, after all, were these people told to do this? Were they told to do that? Now, people can be encouraged to do certain things, which is true. I'm pretty sure that my ex-spouse's family, at least a few of her siblings, have encouraged her to go down the path she's going for some reason. I don't know why. Frankly, nor do I really care what they do. Because by her listening to her siblings, who basically are living in very drastically different financial situations. Let me make it very clear. If they're influencing her, pushing her, whatever here, to do this, they're going to end up making her life a really big problem. Now, I could hear some people saying, why would her family do that? Well, I can't tell you why here. And I will probably never understand either, to be bluntly honest. But the point... So, it's just... Ow. But... augury bones. So, it's just like strong, successful males said. If your girl's family, friends are influencing her to do this, do that, whatever, and she goes along with it, why would some people do this? Well, some, it's because they're just miserable and they can't, and, misery loves company. Let's be miserable together. Or if I had to guess in this regard, they think she can do better, and she believes that with them. So, so from my perspective, it's just what do you do? And for me, it's just, okay, go ahead. From my perspective, it's just, okay, go right ahead. Do this to yourself. You will regret it in the end. Just like how my ex-wife's mother regrets cheating on her first husband, because now her quality of life is now in the dirt. She literally has to stay with her children or somebody, and all the guys who she's basically dated after she left my my ex-wife's father, her life has just been a steady downhill trek. I mean, just yesterday she got served. Yes, she got served by one of the courts that exist in where I live, and she just got served for over like I believe it was $4,000 because she was borrowing money that she just didn't have, and now they're suing her to basically reclaim it because it's enough that they can go into above small claims court. And my ex has bought a house that she has no chance of affording at all, and she's already talking about getting another job. And me once again being way more responsible for our children. And when she told me this, she's like, I'm gonna need you to watch our daughter. And I'm like, I'm not gonna watch my child, I'm gonna take care of my child. Because there's a big difference between you pay a babysitter to watch your child. If my child is in my care and in my custody, I'm not watching my child. I am taking care of my child and providing for my child. And that's her attitude is, oh, I need you to watch the kid so I can work an extra job. And it was like, if you chose to stay here and work on our relationship and actually try to work on our relationship, because she claims she did, but from my perspective, she didn't. Because she's like, oh, let's go out and do this, and blah, 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 blah. But from her perspective, it was too little too late. So, it's just, how do I put this? Oh, yeah, you seem to think that your life is going to be that much better without me because you can date who you want, be with who you want, blubbity, 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 blah. Well, I hope you're ready to pay the price for that. And, for me, people sit there and say, okay, Ghost Hunter, what's her price then? Heck if I know. And if I did know what her price would be, I wouldn't tell her anyway. Why would I not tell her anyway? Because guess what? If you knew, it's the what was it? It was, I forget the name of the Greek story in this regard, but that's it, Pandora's box. Pandora, Zeus has a box made that contains all the evils in the world, and, he doesn't really want to open it, but he wants to punish humanity for some reason. I forget what it was. But he wants to punish somebody, and ultimately Pandora opens the box, and she lets all the evils out into the world. And the last evil that she managed to close the box on was, what was it? It was like knowing or foresight kind of thing. Basically, that, and she closed the box on that particular thing. And after she closed the box, basically the last evil in the box was was either foresight or knowing what was going to happen, so at least that way you don't end up dealing with the consequences. But, my ex is going to learn the consequences of her actions. And if it goes really bad for her, more than likely she's going to end up living like her mother. And, she may attempt to come back and be with me. But my response is probably not something she's going to like. And I can't be certain if it's the preconceived notion that she has of me. I don't know what, nor do I really care. The only thing that really matters to me is the welfare of my children. And that's it. So, it's just, what do you do? What do you do? Well, there's not a lot you can do for some people. For some people, you just throw them away. You just have to throw them away. Or better yet, just leave them to rot where they are. And, that's the nicest way to put it. It brings me no joy in a lot of ways to sit here and say this kind of stuff. But when someone chooses to fully embrace suffering because, maybe they think that's what they deserve, or maybe that's what they think they should get, who lives in a grand palace beyond the endless sandstorm. Tessa. Uh-oh. Lilith. Keep her voice. Alright, find a guide. That'll be fun. But, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. And in the case of my ex, I'm just going to let her walk down her path. I'm going to follow my own path. And who knows, maybe my path will... Ow. Oh. So, I'm going to let my ex go down her path of self-destruction. And if it does end up blowing in her face, I'm just going to protect my kids and protect myself, basically. So, that's my 2 cents there. And as for my advice to any men who think about getting married, do not get married. Ever. I had long since suspected that my relationship to my wife would end on a very sour note, because she would decide that she wasn't just going to leave me. She was going to do everything in her power. Well, not everything in her power, but she was going to do the stuff to me that she swore up and down and promised that she would never do to me, and that I had, wow, either my equipment just sucks or I'm lagging. And at this point, I'm willing to bet it's my equipment, or I'm just not paying attention. One or the other. So, in that regard, just I wish her the best of luck because she's gonna need it. And as for me, well, I would sit here and say, my self-luck, but the biggest problem I have is that my luck is just crappy, to say the least. And it's... people will sit there... Now, I'm not gonna sit here and just be like, okay, whatever. It's just, meh, my luck outside of video games has always been... I can't get lucky with anything, basically. The heck? Oh, I'm just sitting there wasting potions. That's nice. So, for me, I'm just gonna trek on and just do the best for myself. Wish her luck, even though there are times I wish her curses. But I wish her luck more than I wish her curses, because she's going to have a very hard and a very unforgiving life. And she's choosing that life. Let's make that clear here. I didn't force her to lead the life where she's going. I did not force her. I didn't make her. I don't pretend to sit here and control people. Besides the fact, every time I even remotely try to what you would ascertain what you might say is control over her, if you follow me here, almost every time I try to tell my ex-wife no, every time I try telling her this is a bad idea, do not do it, do not do it, I was given the, well, guess what? I'm going to do it anyway, and it's going to work out. I'll find a way to make it work out. I will find a way to make it happen. And blubbity, 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 blah. Yes. Got a bunch of jerks to deal with. So, yeah. When my ex either comes to her senses or is at her lowest point, because I know for a fact that the guy she's leaving me for is nothing but a user with a silver tongue. Now people will sit there and say, Ghost Hunter, how do you know that? Because I know people who just use people. I've seen the people who just use people to do this, use people to do that, da 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 da. I've seen the patterns of these people. I've seen what they do. It's that song. Tell me your lies, tell me your sweet little lies. And this guy's got a silver tongue. He knows exactly what she wants to hear. He knows exactly how to make her feel. And then as soon as he gets what he wants, as soon as he gets what he needs, Deckard Cain? Deckard Cain is dead. Yeah, Deckard Cain died in the last game. He died putting Tyrion's sword back together. Actually, I think I know this guy. Rodrin. But oh, sad, really. There's one story mission down. Let's see if we can get to the others today. But you know, it's for me. It's just I'm gonna kick my feet up and watch her life crumble. And if it doesn't, good for her. How long before she does something before she gets in trouble? Because the thing that, I don't think my spouse ever truly realized about me was that I've always been constantly doing my best to protect her. Granted, I couldn't always provide for her the way I always wanted to. Life is funny like that when you're a guy who tries to do what he can to provide for somebody. And the job I work at, because again, YouTube like this for me is a hobby. It's a hobby. I enjoy doing it. It's fun for me. And, I'm just gonna let her do it. Granted, I wish I could get my share out of the money that I'd have to give her just to get her out of my hair. Because it's not right that she gets to do with all that money what she damn well pleases. Because, we got it from me. Well, no, we got it because of me. And she'll sit there and say, no, it's hers. But, the thing that is really irksome in that regard is that, we could sit here and fight about who did what. But the truth is we both contributed in our own ways. And it's just... it's just the way the cookie crumbles, I guess. But, it's just, well, she's going to burn her life down. How do I know that? Well, gee, we're in a recession right now. And, people will sit there and say, oh, Ghost Hunter, we're not in a recession. Look, I already explained this in another video. In one of my Kirby videos that I hope to finish one day. But basically, in a nutshell... But, basically, in a nutshell, the United States, where I'm from, where I was born and raised, this country's on the verge of a civil war. People will sit there and say, oh, they've been saying that for years, Ghost Hunter. Trust me when I say this. The thing that a lot of people don't understand about wars is that in a lot of cases, a war can brew for well over, 20, 30, 40, 50 years before the actual war actually happens. And, it's called, okay, Ghost Hunter, we're on the verge of civil war. What do? I ain't doing nothing. I ain't gonna... The only thing I have to do is worry about my family, worry about my children. And that's all who I have to worry about. I have to worry about my mom, my dad, my brother, the family members who actually mean something to me and aren't backstabbing little a-holes, excuse me. And, it's just, well, And what about your ex? Well, she can go to her family and have them help her. Because I know for a fact when the chips are down, her family will leave her in the dust. How do I know that? Because she's had to admit that amongst her family, even when she actually is a full sibling to two of her siblings, and then she's half to all the others, she still gets the unwanted redheaded style treat. Let me say that again. The unwanted redheaded stepchild treatment. And she magically thinks that these people are going to change for her. Now that she's going to be Miss Independent, wow. I got news for you. People who left you to rot in the sun, whatever, when they leave you to rot, they will eventually still leave you to rot because they would rather save themselves. And that's what her family's going to do. They're going to sit there and be like, oh, good job, girl. You finally got a house. You finally got away from that loser of a husband you have. Blah, 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 blah. He was an a-hole. He does this. He does that. The thing that's actually funny that she had to admit out loud was I was the first person who actually gave her love in the way that she'd been yearning for years. Because that's just who I am. So, you know what? When she crashes and burns, I used to be there for her. She doesn't want me to be there for her. So it's just leave the person to be and just let them rot. Just leave them out in the sun. So I hope she's ready to enjoy her life with what's going to come next. Because if civil war does happen, because when the American economy hits depression because of what's going to happen when that deal between Russia, China, Saudi Arabia, and I believe Brazil goes through, because that's going to break the petrodollar, and it's going to break the petrodollar really, really hard. She's not going to be able to afford her pretty little home. So, am I going now? For those of you who are gonna, I know there are gonna be people who are gonna ask, okay, Ghost Hunter, if you're not gonna help her, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna kick her? You're gonna kick her while she's down? No, not gonna kick her while she's down. I'm just gonna laugh. It's just like her younger sister, who, hold on, folks. life never does end. Life is funny anyway. Wow, that's a pretty nasty sandstorm. I've heard of sandstorms that happen out in the Sahara where it's pretty crazy what happens in those storms. Where you get dust and sand blown in your face. Oh, wow. And, you've got wind and sand blowing in your face that are... Whoa, okay, wow. Was not expecting that to happen, but... Oh, look, a little sand shield wall. Perfect. And there's a chest over here. So... So, in the end, I'm gonna lean back, I'm gonna laugh, I'm gonna do what I'm gonna have to do to protect myself. And when she's basically has nothing left and she's down there crying and she's down there on her knees crying, begging for help, I'm just going to politely close the door in her face. Cold-blooded, I know. But at this stage, she's earned every ounce of my ire now. And, it's hard to believe a few years ago, I would have gladly laid my life on the line for her. Now, I only hope that her misery does not become my problem. That's the only thing I hope for at this point. Is that her misery does not become my problem. Because if her misery does become my problem, that's going to suck for me pretty hard. You'll have to just pipe in the chapel. Oh, my neck popped. So, yeah. And am I going to have a nice belly laugh when she's basically destroyed her own life? Oh yeah, I'm going to laugh and enjoy myself. Now I gotta sit here, some people saying, wow, Ghost Hunter, that's pretty cold-blooded of you. Well, at this stage, she never loved me. Ghost Hunter, what do you mean she never loved you? She married you, for Pete's sake. Yeah. I'm pretty sure I was a pretty convenient guy for her to marry. She got to go out, see the world. She got to see this. She got to see that. thing that's actually really sad is we could have continued on the path of where we were going. We could have eventually bought a much, much better house. We could have bought a lot better things. We could have had a lot better on this and that. And in the end, she's just like, nope, I'm not happy, so I'm just going to go leave. Blubbity, 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 blah. So, you know what? If you think you can do so much better without me, go right ahead. Because guess what? From what I've heard and what I've spoken to other people about, just to live on your own the way she wants to, she needs to make at least a bare minimum of 30% more than what she already makes. And if she actually made 30% more than what she makes right now, what do you do? What do you do? The answer is nothing. Sometimes people just need to have their lives destroyed by their own hand, and just let them do it. Because sometimes you have to learn through your own failures or your own pain just to get anywhere. Sad, terrible, crappy, you name it. Just gotta let it happen. But, as for, what's coming to the United States, it's straightforward and pretty darn simple. War is coming, and it's going to be crappy. And the worst part about it is that it's all the fault of the politicians, and they don't care. They're making money, honey, and they're making such good money, honey, that it's all honey to them. So let them have their fun, because if certain people have their way with these politicians, it will be truly a really, really crappy day for them. The day when their doors get banged in and terrible stuff happens to them. Ow, my wrist. So, you know, the immortal words of... Oh, no, never mind. I don't have anyone to quote at this point. That was foolish of me. But, you know, it's called... Okay, come on, let's go. I just had to catch up with you. So, you know, it's just people want their lives the way it's gonna go, and you just let them do it. And in the process, when bad things happen to them, you just laugh about it. Nihilists, people sit there and say that's terrible. Well, did these people think about your feelings when they went and did what they did? Did they honestly seem to give a darn about your feelings? Did they give a darn about when you said, hey, dude, I get that you've wanted this for a very long time, but how do you plan on paying for it? How do you plan on affording it? And, you know, if their genuine answer is, I'll figure it out. You know, it's called, that's not promising. That's actually one of the dumbest things you can do, in truth, is just jump. It's like jumping into an ocean, and it's like jumping into the ocean, and instead of getting, you know, some slightly cool water, instead you jump in expecting, you know, great fun, and then you end up in the riptide. Oh, great. Who are these people? Oh, great. He's all converted these people to worship of Lilith. Yeah, this is not going to end well. That is a really, really dumb idea. By the Mother's grace. Ah, new disciples. Oh, really? She's here. The sightless eye? Huh? Sadly, Master Elias, it is time to die. So sad. So sad that I'm going to have to stick my blade in his heart and fill his blood with poison. And I'm going to have to fight my way out of this place, too. Someone conjuring a demon right there. Holy cow. I wonder if they sacrificed to make that happen. Good lord. In judgment before Master Elias. No fear, no hesitation. Don't worry. We won't. Wow. Elias is walk this world. Maiden, Master Elias. I knew you would cut Molorath. Sightless eye have you. Waste such magic on you. Wow. Narrow-minded. I wouldn't call a Haradrim narrow-minded. Although, I don't think that this is the real guy, though. No, it's not. Something in blood petals. Yeah, great. This can't be good. Lilith. Wow. Who's that? Oh! Well, there's a nasty scene. Basically being ripped apart. Wow. The ruination of sanctuaries. If we are to be saved, it will be by your hand. Okay. Empower how? Are you going to stop your father? Are you going to stop the elder evils? Come on. Enderal lives, the Haradrim die. Whatever the cost. Okay. Another vision. The Lord of Hell threatens our existence. How are you still alive? Well, in a way, that actually makes a lot of sense. How do you deal with the primevals? You call upon those who are just as powerful as the primevals, I guess you could say, and not place fanciful hopes on those who you cannot. You know, I've really been wanting to shank this guy, and he's being a pain in my butt. Now he's resummoned his pet. This is fun. But, you know, I need to get off this topic. I'm just going in circles. But, you know, closing query to anyone who's listening or maybe watching. You know, do you honestly think life is better without a person you've spent years with? Go ahead and put that in the comments. I mean, you know, people will sit there and say, "Well, Ghost Hunter, have you like abused your partner, your wife?" And the answer to that is no. In fact, I've encouraged her to always do better. I mean, the only reason why she even got the job that she has right now was because I was the one who encouraged her to trying to go for it. And the fact that the company she works for is so crappy that, you know, even then I still think she should do better. Skittering abomination. Jeez. So, yeah. Hall of the Master. Good lord. Can I just... Come on. Never. Oop. The funny thing is I'm pretty sure Lilith is right. Her father and basically what would amount to her uncles probably are planning something terrible. And why would they want to destroy Sanctuary? Well, because it's probably the biggest eyesore for demons. Angels, not so much. More than likely not so much. But for demons, it probably is a reminder that one of their own kind chose to love an angel, chose to have a child with an angel, or their kind chose to have a kind with their kind with angels, created basically a whole new species. I mean, that is kind of a big spit and slap in the face when you think about it for a minute. Necromancy. Well, it's definitely not an illusion magic. Maybe it's some type of animated corpse, or Actually, now that I think about it, magic. It must be some variation of a clone spell from Dungeons and Dragons. I mean, multiple copies that he seems to be in control of. So, Simulacrum in Simulacrum, but more powerful, more like a clone. Just there's no empty vessel, or it could be. Who knows? He could have created a clone of himself and just kept going. Hard to say. Oh, it looks like I finally got to the fallen Haradrim. Praise Supplicant. This is fun. That's coming from you. When some of the dungeon bosses are nastier. Interesting. Ooh. Granted, the things he's summoning are way more of a nuisance than I'd like them to be. Stop holding back. What? Does Lorath actually know some pretty incredible magic? Because the last time I checked, the only one who was really a powerful Haradrim was Deckard Cain. And he died in the last game, reforging Tyrael's sword. Hell, I'm surprised Tyrael isn't even in this game. It's actually interesting considering he ripped off his wings in the last game. Oop. Please tell me we got him that time. I'm guessing that's the eye. The sightless eye. The only thing I worry about at this point is that the eye is useless. How is the eye useless? Well, think about it for a minute. He's been peering across space and time. Oh no. What happened? No. Well, let's hope we did. Let us hope we did. Sneaky devil, huh? Like a quill rat. Hey, Deckard. Aye. So sad. Good people who try and do good things. And what's their reward? A knife in the back. God, I know that feeling a bit too well. I'll have my peace one day. And when it's quiet, I'll lean back, take a deep breath. I'm taking the cycles out. I need a safe place to study it. Use it against them. We'll need to get better Go. I will lean back, put up my feet, smile, and hope by God's grace that I never have to deal with this in my life again. It's what I hope for at this point. It is what I truly hope for. Trouble is, he won't stay dead. Although what doesn't make sense is how he's staying alive. Maybe. Powerful piece of magic. And dangerous. The only problem with something like this sightless eye is that it Diablo, Mephisto, and Baal are coming. In other words, they've been reforming since the second and third games, then. Alright, let me do this level up real quick, and then I think I'll be good for today. Less damage, or let's go with them dealing less damage for now. Alright, everybody, I am going to have to end things here. So this is Ghost Hunter 385 signing off.